compete and strive to be the best they can be in everything that they do. And no one exemplifies that everything counts mentality more than Marcus Jones. Elite student, elite football player, great person, loyal. And the biggest thing is for someone that's as accomplished as he is, that's on a 2-year Navy postgraduate scholarship, that's won the award here for the top engineering student that had a 4.0, he's as humble as the day is long. And so his loyalty, but his humility are impressive to me. Like, if I post something about him, I'm always like, hey, what's your Twitter handle? It doesn't even have it. I mean, he's just a great teammate, a great person to be around, and really makes everyone around him better.
At Saturday's scrimmage, you see what you wanted to see, or how'd it go?
Yeah, I thought Saturday scrimmage was good. You know, the defense was significantly ahead of the offense, which is normal for that time of year. You know, we have a lot of vets on defense. They're flying around. They're playing hard. But, you know, for me, starting Tuesday, you know, I think the offense is really, second week, I really challenged the offense. The offense is starting to catch up. So I think this Saturday will be a great scrimmage. The first scrimmage is, you know, 24 plays for the ones, you know, 30 to 35 for the twos and threes. And this week we'll get up in the 40 to 50 range for the ones and twos. So that to me will sort of show, hey, are we in condition? Hey, can we handle the heat? All those kind of things.
How much of the offense being behind is just the chemistry that the quarterback has to establish with the running backs and the receivers of timing and things like that?
I think it's just football in general. I don't know if I've ever been around a team that the defense isn't ahead of the offense. And typically on defense, you can survive by putting up in one or two defenses that guys are really comfortable with. On offense, you have to get a bunch of stuff into right? Even situationally. So I like, you know, Corey, Charlie, I think has a great rapport right now throwing the football with his, you know, old couple of, you know, veteran guys, Mims, Platt, those kind of guys. Marcus Jones. I like to see that just continue across the board. Get the tight ends involved, get the backs involved, get the young receivers involved, and then Gary and Dino, them continuing to develop. But, you know, this is the grind of camp. We're like in the grind of it, right? You know, there's no end in sight. Next week is when you start to see a little light at the end of the tunnel. So right now they just have to keep working through it, grinding through it, continuing heavy install, and they're not taking a breath.
Have you seen that from the guys? You know, just kind of surviving the grind, getting through it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. You know, today there was a little bit of chippiness, there was a little bit of lack of discipline. There's some guys out of practice today, which, you know, you want guys that are chippy, you want guys that fight back. We have to really be a disciplined football team to get where we want to get. So that's the grind of camp. And sometimes you just want it to be easy. I mean, I'm pushing things on them football intelligence-wise, situationally, that, you know, we haven't pushed on them before. We're at the point where we need to. And sometimes you just don't want to have all that on your brain, right? You get decision fatigue, you get studying fatigue. But if you're going to go eat the training table meals, you're going to wear the gear that we give you, then, you know, then make sure you're also studying football. So that's the grind right now. I can't. It's tiring for me. I'm tired. It's tiring for them. But if we weren't tired, we wouldn't be doing anything. So that's where we're at right now.
Is there any players that have kind of raised your eyebrows so far?
You know, I think we have a lot of guys doing a lot of good things. I should have thought of this answer ahead of time. I think Rhule Arnold, you know, having him back in the mix and the passion that he brings and the energy that he brings to the team, and just his focus is so much further ahead of where it once was. You know, not that he wasn't focused before, but I mean, he is like, hey, I'm getting ready to play the last 2 games of my life type of focus. And that really drives people. And so if I had to pick one person that really stands out to me, I'd say, you know, his attention to detail. And then a couple of incoming guys, you know, we're the type of team that we don't have to talk that much about the freshmen because we have a lot of vets, but you have this kid, Will Williams, that's out there, and I mean, the whole team knows who he is right now because he plays hard and he is physical, and there's a bunch of other ones, but I'd say those 2 guys really, to me, have been the story right now in camp.
You mentioned that this is kind of the grind week. Do you see that with the freshmen where it starts to catch up to them here a little bit more than the veteran guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're such a big physical, older team, and they're so used to now studying. You know, we're not like some teams that, you know, hey, let the kids go early at night. Like we stay here till 9:30. We just sit in 2-hour meetings. We do it, you know, that way. And the vets are used to it. The young guys, it can be a little bit of a challenge. But there's a lot of guys handling. Jalen Jones is handling. You know, a lot of those young guys are handling. So that to me is just having them, you know, fight through those things. Brandon White, you know, is another guy that, you know, his body doesn't feel great right now, but he just goes out there and competes every day. And so, to me, if you can learn those lessons as a freshman, even if you don't really play that much as a freshman, you're going to be that much further ahead when it's your time. And if you do it right now, you have a chance to really play.
Last year, it's Graylin. obviously plays cornerback. Do you have him at some other spots?
Yeah, we're playing him like we're kind of moving around as a nickel, as a corner. So he's playing, some people call safety at times. Some of our packages can play corner. So we're just trying to utilize his versatility to return punts for us. So, I think we're just trying to move more and more, involve more and more of a positionless defense where you don't just necessarily say, hey, this guy is this. Where we utilize his skill set, in these things. So Grayling gives us the opportunity to cover great ball skills. When we talk about trying to get more turnovers, well, who are the guys that can go get the ball and make turnovers? And he's one of them. And he gives us good physicality as well.
Last year, y'all had a problem with forcing turnovers. Do you see that changing in practice? Are you seeing more turnovers being forced?
I think we're picking the ball off better. We're not knocking the ball out fumbles quite as much. It's really hard to do that kind of when it's a thud tempo, when it's not live. And but I do think when you're going in there trying to rip the ball out, what happens is your offense doesn't turn the ball over quite as much. They get really used to holding it like this, truly an iron sharpens iron mentality. So we had 19 turnovers last year, and we've got to get that number down to 15. Okay, you're not going to be 0, but we've got to get that number down under 15. And so that's just 4 over the course of 3 games, and that's us holding the ball better. So I like that part of it. I think our quarterbacks at times have been a little loose with the football, and our defense today, we had a big pick today. Yesterday we had a pick 6, so defense is starting to break on balls a lot. And if you look over here, it's after practice, and all the DBs, it's the DBs that are on the jugs, not the receivers. The DBs are taking it really seriously to go develop their hands so they can go make plays on the ball.
You say position defense. Does that mean that this scheme kind of gives you maybe things where you can just be more matchup based and not this guy's on this side and that guy's on that side? It's based on who matches up better with the talent on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I think that to a degree, it always depends on how fast people are going. When people are going fast, you can't just play left and right, right? When people are going a little bit slower, you can go field, bounds, where you take advantage of guys' skill sets. And then occasionally if you face a great player, you can kind of do some things against him. So, what we want though is we want to teach it globally. So we want our corners to be able to play safety. So if we lose a guy, a corner can go over and play safety. With safeties, they can play linebackers that can rush the passer. Clay Johnson's probably one of our best pass rushers. And so, as we move in and out of 3-4 to 4-3 and all those different things, if we have to sub all the time, it's one thing. But if we can have guys who can do multiple things, it gives us a lot of flexibility. And so part of it's just the teaching process, just letting them see conceptually what's happening so that they can, where we might have 15 guys going to games, they can cover 22 different things.
Do you have any injuries new injuries that have come up?
Yeah, so one respectful thing I'm going to have to do is just because of all the HIPAA stuff and some of the things that come out talking to the AFCA, I'm probably not going to be able to talk about injuries this year. And that's really just kind of not for me necessarily. It's just kind of what's being directed towards me. So we have guys who are out, probably all I'll say, and not be able to get too much into what's going on. But of the guys in the 2 deep, other than John Carlos should be back tomorrow. Other than that, I think everyone in the 2 deep is healthy. We have some young guys that are banged up, but overall, globally, the rest of those guys are pretty healthy.
Matt, you talked about the lack of depth at tight end and Kristoff coming back as really the experienced guy. How are you seeing the development maybe of some of those other guys?
Yeah, the tight ends have a long way to go. They're the position group that really needs to start to elevate itself. We've got a lot of talent there. We've got Ben Sims, we've got Kristoff who's played. Cody Buller's done a really nice job as sort of a fullback tight end. He was running with the ones today. But it's really that consistency of that position to warrant being on the field. There's a lot of great receivers, there's a lot of great backs. And so you're not just fighting to be the top tight end, you're fighting to have the tight ends on the field ahead of another running back. And so that's a challenge right now. And, there's no position that's harder to master than tight end. You have to be a receiver and you have to be an offensive lineman. So there's so much being asked of you to do. And so I'm hopeful that this week into this scrimmage, I can see them continue to elevate their play.
With that depth at running back, do you find yourself wanting to maybe go to more 2-back sets or subbing the tight end for running back?
Yeah, that's kind of our thought process, is getting the best guys on the field. And, we always want to be multiple. We want people not to be able to just prepare for one look. We want to have them have to deal with different things. So between, John Lovett and Treston Ebner and Michael Hasty and Abram Smith, who's had a great spring and a great camp. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I don't feel like having those guys standing right next to me. And then you have guys like Squirrel that's coming back and battling his way back. You have guys like Quayle Jones who's had a great camp. I want those guys on the field when you can. So it doesn't mean we're just going to go to that full time, but it means that we have to be creative with different things that we do. And part of that's not necessarily preseason. Preseason, you're just installing concepts. But as we get into games, I'd like to see us be multiple with our rules.
What are you seeing from Niadre Zuzwa as maybe a pass rusher, someone that can create a little pressure on the quarterback?
Yeah, I'm just one of those guys I kicked out of practice today. That's why I'm laughing. He's had a good camp. He's had a good camp, and very athletic, very physical. He just, like everyone, he has, discipline means we do what we say we're going to do, and if you're not going to hit the quarterback, then you don't hit the quarterback. And sometimes that happens when you get competitive, and but he's a good kid. He's worked hard, but today was not a great day for any other.
Jake was a guy you moved to center in the spring. How do you see him coming along? Do you see him playing well there at that spot?
Yeah, I think Jake's done a really nice job. He's a guy that can play center, guard, or tackle for us. He's committed. He's in the grind. Hasn't missed a rep. Has battled, and he's getting comfortable there. You're going to get some good noses. Bravion's as good a nose as there is, and so he's out there. He's competing. So I'm happy with his progress.
As far as your couple more quarterbacks being a little loose with the ball this preseason, how do you balance them taking those chances versus being conservative with?
Yeah, I don't think it's about being conservative. I think it's just about doing exactly what you're trained to do, right? So if it's on time and you're supposed to be there, be on time. But if you're late, you can't go there, right? And so it's also about the aggressiveness. Really is, he's who I'm supposed to throw the ball to, and he's open. Like we have to throw it to NFL open, right? When the guy's on his back, I got to throw it out in front of him, and let him go make the play. So I want our guys to be really, really aggressive in terms of making the play, and letting the player. Letting the receiver, letting Mims go make the play, as opposed to it always having to be the play call, right? So we try to show them NFL tape of, guys aren't really very open in the NFL, but you're throwing them open, and you got to go to the right guy. What we can't do, though, is a play breaks down and we just throw it up. Play breaks down and we're running with one hand on the ball. We won't win if we do those things. So I want them to be really aggressive. I just don't want them to be stupid, and that's the fine line. That's why I need a ton of reps. We do 2 minutes every day to put them in clock management situations and really to put myself and the coaches in clock management situations. So they're coming along. I just think sometimes you get competitive in practice and it's not the game, and you just throw it up, and all of a sudden now that leads to bad habits in the game.
What did you think of Jalen Hurd's performance? He obviously had 2 touchdowns in their first preseason game, but what's that like, just being able to show kind of already a guy making an impact in the NFL?
Yeah, well, first of all, anybody that's played for me, I'm proud of. That Thursday night, I had 18 former guys that I was coaching for playing in preseason games that night. So, but what I told the team was when Jalen goes out there and plays the way he played, right, where he, not just the touchdowns, right, but caught the ball and tried to run someone over on the goal line. He tried to dominate blocking. When people would come in here and ask me about him, I said, this is who he is. And our coach said, this is who he is. And people were like, are you sure? No, this is who he is. And so, I was able to text a couple people and say, I told you who he is, right? And what that does, I asked our team, what does that mean? It means that there's a brand out there where people know, hey, if I take a kid from Baylor, he's going to be tough. He's going to be hardworking. He's going to be competitive. He's going to, go out there and do everything he can to help the team win. So Ira Lewis goes into the game the other night for the Houston Texans. And he, first play of the game, high ankle sprain, tears 2 ligaments on his ankle. And he keeps trying to play. Okay, so they finally pull him out. And instead of giving him an injury settlement and sending him on his way, they put him on IR. And they pay him to keep him around because he's tough. We don't say it's all just play through injuries, but he battled through discomfort and fought to try to make the team. So what we want is the guys that leave here to go out and represent the program in a way that when all these other scouts that are here today are saying, hey, coach, is he tough? Yeah, he's tough. And then they know it's really, it's real. I'm not just saying that. So those guys, I think, are making a huge impact. Greg, obviously Jalen McClendon's got re-signed. So excited for all those guys. Excited for, the guys that were here before I was here. X Howard came back this summer. He's working on finishing his degree down there in Miami. So we're fired up about it, him doing that and finishing his degree. Corey Coleman, with having a great offseason towards me. I was able to show the team, the Coach Harbaugh talking about Robert Griffin and how, he's out there in full pads going through the reads, even though he's not hurting. And, I texted Robert, he texted me back, and I showed the guys his thoughts on doing that. So all these guys that came before our players, even if it was last year or 5 years ago, they set the example, and also they make a name for what Baylor means at the next level. And then we want our guys to then understand, hey, when you go to that level, you better take notes. You better be on time. You better be disciplined. You better play through discomfort. You better do all these things so you have a chance to make it. And that's a big part of this time of year. Like we show them Hard Knocks every week. We cut it up. We get rid of all the, relationship, family stuff, which is great. But we just concentrate on the football stuff. And just want to make sure our guys understand, like, whether you go to, IBM next year or Oracle, or you go to the NFL, you had better show up every day and have every day be, going back to my first thing, everything counts. From the way you go get coffee to the way that you stretch, you better do it at an elite level because there's so much competition in the world. And that's what I want the guys leaving this program to understand, that's life. And so